Chad, thanks for coming in today.
Thank you, Ryan, for having me. Thank you, Kyle, also for this great relationship that is taking form. Just so everyone knows, I'm Chad with Reach Estate, team lead of the Reach Estate team. We are a business service partnership in the EXP model, EXP Realty model. So what we're doing is just looking to get to know one another and share what is the heart that then motivates the agents to feel inspired, to feel confident in what they're surrounded by. So one thing that I think is good to discuss is the getting to know you, like you, trust you, and then bring you into the vision that each of our agents have as a business plan for the year. So, business planning is one thing about everyone wants to make a certain amount of money, and it's all money driven. But there's also passion that results in prosperity. So I feel that in the path that I've had to get to know a little bit about each of you, you have a lot of passion, you have a lot of a story that brought you to where you are, that makes you as great as you are. So while you are the #1 lender by Palm Beach Post for 2021 and 2022, or 20 and 21, pardon me, that's a fantastic recognition. But you have a history that brought you forward, that made you have a passion and dedication, that made you be a great servant to all those you serve. So I guess just share your heart space and let us know why it is that, we should take our relationship a little further and get to know each other a little more.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. You want to start off?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I found this industry just when applying for different jobs on Indeed. Ryan thankfully reached out to me while I was going to Florida Atlantic University studying accounting. So I got involved that way, and then less than a year later, I ended up purchasing my first home and just absolutely fell in love with the industry as soon as I joined here. Every day, I talk to different people who are maybe buying their first home, maybe they're buying an investment property, maybe they're downsizing, but everybody has a story and everybody has a home. And in that home, they live their lives and they make traditions and they have memories and they spend times with their families there. And just being able to see other people have that experience and then going through it myself has just made me fall in love with this industry and fall in love with the relationships that we can build with our clients and the realtors that we work with, just to help everybody have that experience in their life.
Well, and I can appreciate that, and I can also just commend you on what I've noticed so far. The main thing about anything with real estate is that if you're in touch with your database on a regular basis, you're creating relationships. Those relationships are not always a listing today or a buyer today. They are relationships that might come to play 6 months down the road, or their plan is for next year, but your genuineness of wanting to speak to them is going to make them want to circle back to you. So what I've noticed about you, in even just in the type of information that we have provided to your team, is that you are actually pounding the phones. You are regularly in touch with everybody. And that is, to me, the essence of the trust I feel that we can put within you to be able to serve our agents, because it's not just going to be, you have a great loan product. It's going to be, hi, I'm in touch with you again. Hi, I'm calling you every couple of weeks. I'm just in touch with you. I'm your ally. I'm here in case maybe you have something you want to talk about, or maybe you don't even know what you want to talk about, but we're going to make a class, or we're going to make a discussion group, or we're going to be talking on a couple of topics just to get your brain as an agent going, to then see how can we serve you and how can we guide you and advise you into being a good business person. And that way their business can grow because they're growing as a business person and they have a relationship with someone that they can collaborate with and get ideas that they didn't know that existed. And I think finding out what you don't know and having the humility to immerse yourself into relationships that can give that to you, that is always the first step of a successful endeavor for an entrepreneur, which all agents are. So
It's consistent persistence. So, I mean, that's what Kyle's great at is being consistent. And so I remember when initially interviewed Kyle for the Loan Apprentice program, that's how he started in the program, and he kind of grew up from there. And I remember we did the interview, and then afterwards he kept calling and emailing the office. And I was like, he kept calling and emailing. I'm like, I like this kid
Right.
because he has what it takes. He has that drive. And there's three things that we look for when somebody applies. They got to have drive, you got to have a great attitude, and you got to be coachable. Those are the three basics. If you don't have those three, we're not going to bring you on as a team member. It's just not going to work. And those are the three things that Kyle has. He has a great attitude. He shows up every single day, does the work. He has the drive. Like nothing's going to stop this kid. He's like a freight train going down the road. And he's coachable. So that was the one thing that we said in the interview. I was like, listen, there's a couple things you just have to agree upon. Number one, you do everything I tell you to do. Be coachable, because we're going to teach you the business. You're going to grow in the business. You're going to become very successful. You're going to learn under a big production team. And number two is don't quit. Because a lot of people who get into the business, either like in real estate or mortgage, they'll get into it and they don't want to pay their dues. They always want to get to the six figures in the first couple months. They always want, but you got to pay your dues. Everything's a step. You got to learn how to take a perfect application. You have to learn proper scripting, learn proper rebuttals, learn how to read documents, learn how to calculate income, learn how to read guidelines, learn how to communicate within the office, learn how to be resourceful, on and on and on and on. And once you can establish those, then you can move to the next position. So that's what creates a great team member. That's why Kyle's been just awesome as a team member, and he's just knocking it out of the park. So we're just so happy to have him on the team because he executes on those three things.
Well, knowing your documentation is always very important. Sherry Roberts, who is the compliance manager of our team, she's always encouraging the agents to study their contracts, to take those contract classes, to make sure that they're up to date on that, because you are that type of advisor to your customer. So, essentially, I think having that in common is a driving force. I think that what you kind of commented about Kyle, and I, speaking with you, not just at you, is a lot of times the agents will get in a meeting, they'll get very motivated, but the substance in their actions afterwards is what falls short. But it's not necessarily beyond just human nature. That is why having that consistent phone call by those that are in their community and having easy access. That's why we started the www.businessservicepartnership.com, because now you're on that site where you can schedule a call with you, where you can schedule a call with any of the team members that are in the leadership capacity and make something happen where I need to talk about what my vision is and how do I put those collaborations into action items, and which one of those action items are short Q1 action items and which ones are maybe going to be more towards the latter part of the year. But you get your mind and you get your business more into an organization chart versus just being someone who's putting themselves all over Facebook and thinking that's where they're going to get all their leads from. You to put your dues in, as you're talking about, it's in making those relationships and putting substance behind it with your actions. So, you also you're a boxer.